It's just about that time of the week. Time for the Weekly Weebs Podcast. Grab your friends, family, waifus, and husbandos, and join your favorite weebs for an exciting show of anime talk. Hosts Crimson, Frenchie, Wigwiki, and Zario Machini will review and suggest shows, talk about news from the industry, and tackle some of the biggest arguments in the world of anime. It's the Weekly Weebs Podcast, starting now.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast where we talk about reviewing anime. But we don't actually review anime, we just talk about doing it.
Yeah?
Yeah, we just discussed what it would be like if we would actually review an anime series, you know.
Man, what a show this would be if that were the case.
Yeah, but we don't actually do it because you can't respect people that review things. Anyway.
We're going to review things.
Let's go ahead and review Yamada level 9999, whatever it's called.
My love story with Yamada-kun at level 999.
You said it, buddy. And why don't you go ahead and kick us off, because you assigned it, right?
Yeah. Well, technically speaking, yes. This was more of a suggestion from Frenchie. But
the characters looked so weird behind the voice actors, and then I looked at the other characters and they looked normal. Come to find out it's because of a video game. Makes a lot more sense now.
It does.
Oh, is this based on a game? Because it felt...
No.
I was going to say it felt like a dating sim.
The video game character designs are different than their, quote-unquote, real designs.
We were reviewing another show. It may have been when Six was on with us, potentially.
Well, we did Undead Unluck.
Yeah, one of the voice actors was also in this show, and I was looking at their BTVA, and I'm like, these characters look really stupid, and it was the video game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So then I looked at the show itself, and then it had their normal, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I just kind of showed this to Crimson. He's like, oh, I'll sign it.
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed by it.
I wasn't either. This truly was this was a rom-com show.
Yeah.
And we've seen it before several times. The only difference with this aspect is you get a love story of somebody that they met online, through a video game, and the world of finding the one through video games, kind of a thing.
Which is funny
the love
because
story that every guy asks for.
Pretty much,
they
except for Yamada.
No, they met in person before they knew who each other was.
Yeah, that's true.
I will say this. Yamada's not a good character.
He's not a good character.
He's so boring.
I don't know if I really liked any of the characters.
The chick was at least funny. I forgot her name, but she was funny.
I liked her best friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, her best friend.
The one who was just trying to go on dating groups all the time.
I had to take time to Google the age gap between the two, though, because
About 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. Which is, that's fine, whatever. But as soon as they were like, oh, she's in college and he's in high school, I was like, yo?
Yeah.
And she's drinking, and she's like, you're too young to drink? What?
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on?
I also looked that up. I did some Googling as well, because that was going to determine a lot about my stuff with this show, and if I was going to end up having another Cremetta moment unintentionally.
That was also a thought that just stuck in my brain, because there's a constant reminder in this show that she is very immature.
Yes.
And he is not, but she is in college and he is in high school.
Yeah. The nice part, though, is he's a third year, and I think she was a college second year.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So, yeah, it's at most, he is...
He is on his way to graduating high school.
He's like an adult, because he's 18.
Yeah.
So.
He's 17 at the youngest, but he's gonna be 18 shortly, and she is 20 at the oldest. Which 20 to 17, not ideal, but it's way better than a lot of anime.
Definitely.
I.e., 100 girlfriends.
It's more likely that he was 18, she was 19 or 20, and I'm like, I know people that dated when they were a senior in high school and people were freshmen or sophomores in college. That's way more acceptable than some of the shit we see in anime.
True. I mean,
I thought the show was fine and it was enjoyable. It was pretty funny, but there was definitely nothing I think ever that really pulled me in.
Yeah. Like, if I hadn't watched it, I'm not going to be upset about it. And if there's a season 2 that ever comes up, I'm not going to bother. But, like, it wasn't a bad show. Like, it's just a pretty standard high school romance anime that also has some video game playing in it. Makes it a little bit more unique.
And although the video game playing is like just a bare bones plot device.
Yeah.
It really is just there to get the plot moving.
yeah.
But I knew the second that the bunny girl was on screen that it was a dude.
Oh, of course. It's a bunny girl.
Yeah,
that was funny. I liked his character.
I thought it was gonna end up being some like creepy neckbeard kind of guy.
No, he's just the gay
But-
best friend that a lot of women ask for.
Yeah,
I don't even know if he's gay, but
No, but
I don't think he is either. He
I don't
just
think
really
he
likes
is, but
he just really likes role play.
I thought it was going to be a weird sister complex. But then they also made fun of that multiple times. And I'm like, that's a nice little twist
I don't
on it.
have a sister complex. I'm just really into my sister, like a sister complex. So you admit it.
There were some really good jokes that hit well.
Yeah.
there were some good one-off jokes that
Like,
hit.
I don't think
Absolutely.
the plot's anything special.
No.
not
It's
at
not a
all.
very convincing love story.
No.
No,
Um,
I would.
The only
I would
things-
actually go as far to say it's a pretty bad love story.
yeah.
The only things that really held this show together was like the comedy, the animation was pretty damn good. I'll give them that.
It was solid.
Yeah.
And then
wasn't
the
bad.
other thing that for me kept it going was some of the characters themselves, and just like just the way that they are. Not all of them were good. Like Yamada was not very good until later. The main like the chick, I thought she was funny all the way through. She gave me
she's
Maureen
fine.
vibes in a weird way from Dress Up Darling, with like the kind of like the
yeah.
goofiness that she kept portraying.
Yeah.
and then-
like goofy and stylish.
Yeah, but I mean, the
Um,
show was fine.
Oh, I hate.
Did I get emotional when the chick with the glasses confessed to Yamada and he said no? Yes, I did.
They should have ended up together.
That actually,
Probably, yeah.
That would have been such a great twist.
Yeah.
It's like we're seeing these two the entire time. Nah, he picks the other girl
Right.
because they're actually more compatible.
I thought
Yeah.
that something like that would happen, where the main girl would be like, "Oh no, I missed my chance," because she was going to tell him, but then he had to get on the bus. And I
yeah,
was like, "Oh, that was it. That was her last chance right there." That's kind of how I thought it was gonna go, but I hated the little sister.
I both hated her, but also at the time, there were times that she was funny. But when she set her up on the blind date,
Dude, that's when I hated her the most.
yeah.
I was like, this girl could have gotten like raped or killed, and it would have been your fucking fault. This guy is creepy as hell.
yeah.
The old man, best character, though.
Old
Yes.
man, best character. I actually was going to put a note in my phone of
Akane.
that, but I forgot. Akane, that's her name. I forgot.
Akanichi.
Yeah. The old man was incredible.
Yeah, I fucking love him. And everybody is friends with him. Like when they went out to eat
Mm.
and just a bunch of random people were giving him gifts.
The fucking sake? I would love to get a gift of sake.
Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah, I loved that little guy.
And then he was just like a little bug character. He's like, yeah, I just grind in the dungeon. How? How? Do you just sit there and they said, yeah, he just grinds while he's AFK. I'm like, those two things don't make sense.
Well, it kind of does.
Unless you
He just
have
pulls
like,
out a pickaxe and just tink, tink, tink.
but it's a monster grinder. So unless they have like the,
Ooh,
like,
that sounds like a pretty good sandwich.
it sounds like something in freaking Minecraft where you, create your monster spawner and they fall, but usually you still have to hit them.
Right.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have learned more about the game.
Like I'm saying, man, that game was barely a plot device.
When they were fighting the boss, that was really funny to me.
Yeah, that was good.
The one that like just barely took damage from anything.
Yeah, and it would just heal.
and the bunny girl just kept healing them, so the fight would just last forever.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah. Overall, the show wasn't horrible,
Oh,
but
there's
there's moments where it could have been better.
there was one moment where the guy Yamada had me busting up laughing.
Which part?
And that was the scene about the storage chest, where where
Someone
he-
keeps putting all this useless junk in here. It's
Eh,
a Kane.
yeah, and somebody and the bunny girl goes, yeah, I think somebody's been putting in there to help out new players, and he just goes, what? This useless junk? It's worse than what you get at the beginning quests. And it's the most emotion he shows in the entire series.
He's so
with
boring.
But it's also
without a
relatable as
doubt.
fuck in a gamer aspect.
Yeah, like even his
Gamers are emotional as fuck. What are you talking about?
even his
Not that. I meant like in the aspect of getting mad about useless
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that.
even his like character's avatar went from the like chinky bored eyes to just those gigantic wide eyes, just being like, what? And like, you know, quote unquote in game, it's in the chat window, so everybody is hearing him exploding about this.
Yeah.
It's so funny. That's honestly probably my favorite part of the entire show. I think that was the part that had me like laughing the most.
I did really like when she did we spend the night together? Don't think of it like that.
Yeah.
And then we revisit that scene, but from his perspective, and he's telling all the guys he's gaming with that there's a girl in his bed. And they're all like, "Whoa!"
Picture didn't. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yamada is boring as hell, but he is a good guy. And
He is.
That's
Yes.
in terms of as a good character. I really like that he wasn't a sleazeball. This show could
I
have
think
been
he could do better.
yeah. This show could have been pervy so easily, and I'm really happy it wasn't. Like
I am too.
Like
Yeah.
a video game could have been pervy, anything, and it was just wholesome. It's not a great show, and it's not super entertaining.
But it's wholesome.
It's got some good humor.
I'd say it's like decently entertaining.
yeah.
I agree. I wouldn't call it good, but
I don't think the show needed any more episodes. I
No.
think the amount of episodes it had was just fine.
I think it
Yeah.
could have had less.
Maybe 10.
yeah,
Yeah.
sure, why not?
The stuff with her and Yamada was drawn out a lot.
That's
Yeah.
true. But yeah, overall, not a bad show. Not a good show, but not a bad show.
Did its job.
It came in, it did its job, and it left.
This
It made me laugh. So
Yeah.
this is a show. If it was a drink, it'd be room temperature water with 2 ice cubes. That's the laughing, like the little bit of comedy we get. 2 ice cubes, room temperature water though.
yeah, sure, why not?
About as middle of the road as you can get.
Hey, you know,
It's filtered, but it's not good filtered.
some people prefer room temperature water.
Hydrates you faster.
Does it?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
If you use cold water, your body has to burn calories to warm it up, so it's not a shock to your system.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm in that factory, bet your ass I'm going to shock that system. Give me that cold water. I'm sweating my ass off.
I really want you just to do the most epic walkout once you get an IT job.
Yeah.
Just like, you know what, fuck it, and just dump a barrel or some shit.
Just toss a barrel of fucking.
Look at the adventure, fix that.
Yeah, just toss a 400 pound barrel of barbecue sauce.
I take it back. That's just a waste of barbecue sauce.
Yep.
Overall, I think that this show definitely had some good moments, but nothing really ever flowed well from one episode to another. Also, I really like that the ex-boyfriend was a major plot device and then just not there anymore. I
Yeah.
really thought that it was going to be like a revenge story against him, and she made such a big deal about it. But I like that Yamada kind of helped her as a healing journey.
Uh-huh.
The soundtrack was pretty damn good. I'll give him that.
It wasn't bad.
I don't remember anything about the soundtrack, if that
Yeah.
says anything, though.
It didn't like super stand out to me, but
I mean, it fits the show perfectly then.
yeah, I liked it while I was playing.
Yeah.
I got Subway burps.
Ooh, Italian
which is a
cheese.
very different thing in New York City.
Yep. Absolutely. Shall we get into ratings?
Yeah, I think so. There's not really a lot to talk about with this show.
No, there's not. All right, Crimson, go ahead.
I've been changing my ratings around
Oh
a
God.
lot as we've been talking.
God, he gave it a 93,
No, it's actually significantly lower than what I had it at originally.
39.
Not that low. Okay. Personal enjoyment, I gave
77.
Personal enjoyment, I gave a 7. I did enjoy the show. It was a fun watch.
Mhm.
It was a nice watch that was just, you didn't have to really pay attention too much to the show. It was kind of nice to have as like some background noise and like just some chill vibes. It wasn't bad. Animation, I gave it an 8. I think I might be overdoing it a little bit, but I actually very much enjoyed the animation for this show. I like that there was some different aspects with it, and just the kind of designs with the animation kind of fit very well. Character development, I'm keeping it an 8 solely because with this kind of a show, the characters are going to develop significantly from when they started. So that's probably the only really big kind of factor with this. Because with a lot of rom-coms, like, there's going to be giant development. Like, there's going to be big character development in general with most rom-coms. So that's kind of where I think that's probably where most of the benefit of, or not benefit, it's probably the highest score for this show is in the development department.
I don't know if I agree with you there, but that's okay.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not a confident 8. It's
Sure.
kind of that, like, if I put it lower, I feel like I'm doing the show a little bit more of a disservice than it already is.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a thing. Soundtrack 7. It fit the show. Nothing grand or anything, but it was good for the show and what they were doing with it. World Building gave it 4. It's real world. It's a rom-com. They should be thankful I'm giving it a 4 and not like a 2 because it's just
Honestly.
real world.
Honestly.
The only reason I'm giving it a 4 is because I like the aspect of us switching to them playing in game and having those kind of moments in game as well. So that I enjoyed. Plot, I gave a 5. It's there. It's your generic rom-com. There's not really much more that you can really ask for it other than more emotions like Fruits Basket.
Right.
VA performance, I gave a 7. I thought the voices were actually pretty damn good for the characters. I think they fit each character very well, and weirdly enough, did give some life to the characters other than Yamada, whose whole shtick was not having life. Art style, I gave a 6. I feel like, you know what? I'm going to change character development to a 7, and I'm bumping art style to a 7.
Okay.
Solely because I did like the designs of the characters, and I did like the art style of the show itself.
Yeah.
I thought that was very well done. Uniqueness, I gave a 5. It's a rom-com. The only unique part about it is we occasionally get some gameplay stuff where they're actually, having moments where they're, being gamers and then talking in an online chat about stuff that, about their lives. Whereas with most rom-coms, we obviously don't see that. So it's unique in that aspect, but that's really it. Recommendation, I'm still going to give a 7. I think it's still a fun watch. I think it's just enjoyable where you don't have to think too hard. It's not something that's super crazy out of this world, but it's not something that, you don't have to not really pay much attention to. It's kind of there. It's still fun. It's a vibe. So total for me is 64.
Cool. Go ahead, Frenchie.
It's funny. It's very similar. Personal enjoyment, I gave a 7.
Me and you normally have fairly similar,
Except when you simp.
except for when I simp.
It'd be like that.
Personal enjoyment, I gave it a 7. I enjoyed the show enough. Like, am I happy I watched it? I don't really care. but I didn't have a
guess.
bad time watching it.
Yeah.
And some of the jokes really hit for me. Animation, I gave an 8. Art style is 7, so kind of in the same ballpark. Everything's pretty standard for what we see nowadays, but it's not mediocre. Character development, I gave a 6. It's also pretty standard, but we do see some positive progression. I think the most character development we get is actually from the friend from school.
That's fair.
Confesses her love for him.
Oh, yeah.
I think she undergoes the most character development.
Yeah.
World building, I gave a 6. We see, obviously, it's just standard Japan. We see enough of the game. At least we don't learn shit about it, but like we're in the game and in the real world, and like how their guild interacts and stuff like that kind of falls under the world building for me. Soundtrack, I gave a 6. It was fine. It's like the show. It's not very memorable.
Yeah.
Plot, I gave a 5 because it's very middle of the road. It is very much a standard high school / college, I guess, rom-com. But as boring as it is, it also has some niceties to it. VA performance, I gave a 6. Yamada has no emotion at all. And, like, I know that's the character. Doesn't mean I have to like it or give it a high score.
That's true.
I already mentioned art style is a 7. Uniqueness is a 6. Really, the only reason it's not a 5 is just because of the fact that it has the video game in there, at least as, like, a plot device. And then recommendability, I gave a 7. If you're just looking for something to watch, this isn't a bad one.
Yeah.
Total, I gave a 64.
Fair enough.
Nice. All right.
I think we also have a couple of shows from you also outside of this one if you have those ratings as well.
I'm sure I would have to write them up,
That's fair.
so it might be better to save it.
That's fair.
Or we can just cut or something and put it in.
No. We can wait till next week or something. That's fine.
All right, cool. My review of Yamada level 99,999,999,999.
9.
That's the German version. Oh,
That was 999.
oh. Speaking of that,
Where is this about to go?
oh man. So, a few weeks ago, I was hanging out with a buddy, and I mentioned that I hadn't seen any of the newest My Hero season. So he throws it on, and at some point we it was in Japanese, so we were gonna switch it to English, but instead we start making a joke about like putting it to German instead. So we do. And like the first thing that happens in the first episode of the new season is like a recap flashback. So you get the scene with Uraraka on top of the school with
The megaphone,
with the
yeah.
megaphone screaming in German. It's like Uraraka screaming in German on top of a giant H is just so funny. It is the greatest. It is truly the greatest thing ever.
I need to watch that now. I need to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be super surprised if somebody just took, like, somebody else had to have thought about this before I experienced it. So I wouldn't be too surprised if you could just find the German sub or the German dub of that scene. But if not, you can just go to Crunchyroll and do it. But yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh my god.
It worked too well. All right. But not my ratings. Personal enjoyment, I gave it a 7. It was fun.
Sam.
It was a fun watch. Animation, I gave it a 7. It doesn't have like too much opportunities to show off, I guess, but from what we do see, it's really good. Character development, I gave a 6. I think it's like we get character development. It's not crazy extraordinary, but it's there. Soundtrack, I gave a 6. It was a good soundtrack. It fit the show, but I mean, I'm probably not going to think about it after we stop talking about this show. World building, I gave a 4. I felt it was kind of lackluster. We could have gotten more, but at the same time, I guess we really didn't need more for the story that they were telling. But still, we don't really know anything about the game that they're playing.
Other than it's a MMORPG.
Yeah, that has like 5 players.
Total.
Yeah.
Maybe 6.
Yeah. What was that? World building. All right. Plot, I gave a 4. Pretty like kind of middle of the road plot, I guess. It's just like a love story, but they're the 2 characters, like their clash. I don't know. It doesn't sit super right with me. I don't know. They just don't vibe that well with me. Voice acting, I gave a 6. It was pretty good. Not super amazing. But, not bad by any means, other than Yamada, I guess. Art style, I gave a 7. I thought everything looked pretty good. I generally liked the character designs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Uniqueness, I gave a 4. It's really just another romance show to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't really stand out that much to me. I mean, yeah, they play a game together, but with how much of like a bare bones plot device it is, I really hesitate to even include that in the score I give it, because that's just like a thing about the characters. It barely has anything to do with the series other than Yamada, I guess.
Right.
'Cause that's his life. And then recommendability, I give it 6. I think generally people would have like a good watch. I'm not going to go out and tell people to watch this, but if somebody asks me about it, I will tell them you'll probably enjoy it.
It's a fun show to just kind of have playing.
Yeah, for sure. Watch it, put it in the background, you'll finish it, and I don't know, you'll probably never think about it again.
Yeah.
But
it's a good time killer.
Yep. Definitely. Or background noise or something.
Yep.
Total's 57.
So that brings our average with the 3 of us to a 62.
Cool.
And then you've got
A friend and me.
4 shows for reviews. 0.
Yeah.
Free Ren is 1. Shikamori is more than just a cutie. Fist of North Star, good luck. And Solo Leveling.
You should just send me a list so I know what to write up.
I'll message it to you on Messenger separately.
Oh, I guess it would be on my list too, just as blank spaces, but
Yeah. I'll just send you the list of the ones.
cool. That works.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining in. If you want, you can send us some comments and some messages. Let us know how you guys feel about this show. As always, you can send us some recommendations to some shows that you love. If we haven't seen them, we probably have, but hey, maybe you'll surprise us.
Yeah, true.
But, all right, we'll see you guys next week, and until then, love you, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Weekly Weebs podcast.
We'll be back next week with more exciting anime talk.
Make sure to join us every show to stay up to date with what's going on in the world of anime. We'll catch you next time.